The Hopi elder statement says, "You have been telling the people that it's the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour, and there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth, create your community, be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for a leader. This could be a great time." There are a vast set of teaching describing over 150 specific events that have been known to the Hopis. There are corresponding instructions given by the world by Masao, god of the earth, was thousands of years before Christ. The keepers of this profound plan call themselves the Hopi Sinnam, the people of the peaceful path. We have already experienced 3 worlds or evolutionary cycles referred to as the Great Shakings. We are in the last days of the 4th world. The Hopi life plan can and has effectively guided one-hearted people into the promised land of the 5th world. But there is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel that they are being torn apart, and they will suffer greatly. Know that the river has its destination. The elders say that we must let go of the shore, push off into the river, and keep our eyes open and our heads above water. Look around, see who is in there with you, and celebrate. In each of us dwells a pilgrim. It is a part of us that longs to be connected to the sacred. That art of pilgrimages is what I call living the sacred instead of the scared in everyday life. There are profound principles that are represented in Hopi land by many symbols that are etched in rocks. Each symbol does tell a story of the human dilemma. The two-hearted path involves not only willful deviation, but also being out of balance. The energy coming from the Hopi is in the realm where communications is not of this world. Hopi is the thread, the bridge, the place of peace and balance. It is perhaps in its name a word that can show the world that Hopi peace is. It is balance. The world must grow, expand, but it must do it in balance. Otherwise, nature, the great regulator, will take over, as it has now, with floods, eruptions, famine, and earthquakes. Balance is the key word to knowing the harmony of the Hopi. Koniniskonsi. Koniniskonsi. This is the Hopi word which represents where we are today. Chaotic, severely imbalanced way of life. John Kimmy, the Hopi elder, shortly wants us to know the Hopi life plan. It is to be passed and shared through oral tradition. This is his presentation in Cancun, the Tipping Point Conference, January 2010. Here John is pointing out when the Hopi went underworld for a long period of time and then came to the world with the 4 tablets and was sent to the 4 corners of the earth. The upper line represents the two-hearted, those who are out of sync, the lower line, the one-hearted, and the storyline that carries us forth into the 5th world of purification. The first great shaking was the swastika, the Hopi life plan, the Hopi migration path of 4 groups and 4 directions. The first great shaking represents the masculine prophecy. of one man with power. The Hopi did think that the warning that this polarization would continue until one powerful man of the West would attempt to control the whole world. Hopi elders believed that the brutal Nazi dictator Hitler was the man because he adapted the swastika as the symbol for the Third Reich. Hopi had asked two Tibetan monks, lamas, to explain the prophecy of Notre Dame, which mentioned an iron cross turned tipsy-turvy, and they told him that it must have referred to the ancient swastika. The swastika appears in many different forms in our culture, all over the world, even in the Coca-Cola symbol seen here, and in the heart chakra of the Buddha. The Mia, the second great shaking, is associated with the sun symbol, representing the feminine principle. In combination, the swastika and the Mia represent the natural law of polarity, that opposites inevitably seek balance and harmony. The Hopi elders have identified the second great shaking as the massive post-war cultural exchange between the Eastern and the Western hemispheres. This exchange led to the introduction of Eastern mysticism and religion into the West, as well as the rapid industrialization of the East. The miha is the symbol of a plant that has a long root, milky sap, and has a flower that's shaped like the swastika. The Bahamas' intrusion into the Hopi way of life will set the miha symbol into motion, so that certain people will work for the great forces of nature. These nature forces will rock the world into war. When this happens, we will know that our prophecies are coming true, and we will gather strength and stand firm. The time of purification, the second and third shakings, the circles on the line are a critical time. The two-hearteds with the true path of life will represent the demise of the horrible weapon of such great power that it would be an attempt to force every nation into submission, into the will of one. The gourd of ashes, when cast upon the earth, would boil and the very ground and burn everything in a great distance. The Hopi believed that this horrible gourd of ashes was the atomic bomb. The prophecy indicated that the shock and threat would create a terrible weapon of destruction that would cause people to realize that the two-hearted path leads to self-annihilation and inspire them to seek the true path. The return to the indigenous way of life, practiced by all ancient cultures, including their own, is known as the return path. The Hopi life plan, the symbol associated with the third great shaking, is the red hat and cloak. It has the distinction of representing the two possible and interrelated outcomes. The first half is the outcome. It's described as the red hat people will come from the east, and they will be few in number but powerful in their influence. They will be teachers that will bring wisdom and knowledge to the people of the land. Many Hopi elders believe that this scenario really culminated in the prophetic meeting between the Tibetans, the red-hatted people, and the Hopi in 1980. Like the Hopi, the Tibetans carry many prophecies. One states that when the iron bird flies and the iron horse rides on rails, the Tibetan people would scatter to the four corners of the world, and their leader would have to remove the seed of Dharma from the center place and take it across the great waters into the land of the red-hearted people. As we will see in a minute, the Dalai Lama and Grandfather David actually had this prophetic meeting on the date of 1980. Grandfather David was the last major Hopi elder to pass along the Hopi life plan. His message was to correct our out-of-balance way. As John Kemi explained, grandfather said to him, when Creator created the world, he gave each life form a way to be in harmony with all other forms. When humans were created, we too were given a way. That way is known as the true path of life. By returning to the adherence to the natural law, we will return to that path, our birthright. The prophecy, according to John Kennedy, is not just what will happen and what has happened, but beyond what will happen, what it is we are to do now. The consequence of choosing to remain with our mother will be an ever-growing connection to all biological life forms. We will become true Terrans. Our newly awakened sense of oneness will evolve our deeper communication abilities and endow our relationships with ever more satisfying results. As the Hopi elders said, we are the ones we have been waiting for. Astonishingly, not only the Maya singled out the 2012 date, now looming so close, but similar last day prophecies were found not only with the Hopi, the Navajo, the Cherokee, the Apache, the ancient Egyptians, the Kabbalists, the Ascensions, the Peruvians, and the Australian Aborigines. The Hopi prophecy follows the symbols of the Maya. The renaissance of the Maya teachings followed the teachings of the Hopi, and the end of the fourth world and the beginning of the fifth world of purification. This cycle of the Red Spirit Road is the same 5,125 years in unfolding. The Hopi are the people of the pure path, named for faith. The great shaking, we are at the end of the fourth world shaking, having witnessed the gourd of ashes. The Mayan Renaissance, the Maya way, is known as the dream of duality in the phenomenal universe. For some mystics, this manifestation is real. The temple restored in Ekbalam was visited by not only a Hopi Indian elder, but also the Mayan elders. The Mayan elder showed us the portal entrance, the four directions as part of the sacred. The first level for cleansing and the sweat lodge to prepare. The second level in the grounding. The third level for preparation of daily routine. And the fourth level, meditation and prayer. The fifth level was also revealed to us through symbols of higher consciousness. Synchronicity. Synchronicity is the key to aligning. Synchronicity is also known as serendipity, and it is a very powerful word. As we will come to know it and practice it, synchronicity is in harmony with acausal results. Acausal results are those things which happened outside of the realm of time and space. Consciousness and synchronicity is very important to us in learning the Hopi life plan. In this picture, the Mayan elder begins shouting to us, "Look, look, look on her head." We turned and there was a cricket, a grasshopper, on one of our guests' white turban. The Mayan elder says that the Mayans believe that the crickets were a symbol of consciousness and that their voices were to awaken our spirit. The fourth level of the temple is where the prayer and meditation did occur. And on this level, the ruins now show the angel wings of Ekbalam, the star prophecy. This is the only Mayan site that has angel wings in the carvings. The jaguar symbols, the animal symbols, are the entrance to the underworld. This presentation was created by me, Darius Guy, through the guidance of Great Spirit and John Kemi, the Hopi Elder Eshwa. Thank you so much, and namaste to you. For more information on the Community Council of Elders and the community plan, contact Glenn Joson at yahoo.com. Also view the Tipping Point Conference, Vancouver, July 25th of 2010 on YouTube.